What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hockeytown University. You are here with us once again, your lovely hosts, Matt and Zach. Matt, buddy, long time no see. Haven't seen or heard from you since we went to the prospect tournament. What's been going on in your life since then?
Dude, I don't even know. I don't know what I've been doing that's been causing me to miss this so many times, but yeah, I've just been, I guess I got a new job a little while ago, so that kind of takes up a lot of my time. Um, I don't know, that's really about it. Like, I haven't really done a whole lot. I've been with my girlfriend. Oh, actually, last weekend we went to see a play at the Fisher Theater. I highly recommend anybody, like, I was going to this play, I was just like, I'll just sit through this because, I make her watch football every weekend, so I might as well sit through this. It's the least I can do. It was a pretty good time. It's like a really good time. It was a funny show, good singing, and I mean, the Fisher is just absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend anyone who's listening, whether you live in Detroit or you want to visit Detroit, the Fisher Theater is awesome. You should at least go once in your lifetime. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
My week, good. Unfortunately, I did make a horrible bet. Well, it almost hit. I'm not a betting man. Well, I am. I just always lose. But made a bet with someone that the Red Wings would win 5-2 last night against the Toronto Marlies, the Maple Leafs last night actually, but it was all the AHL players mostly, and made a bet that the Wings would win 5-2. It looked promising at first. Toronto was up 2-0, going into in the second, and then the Red Wings kind of turned it around. And as soon as that third goal went in, I was like, I lost. There goes all my money. I don't know what I have to do now that I lost, but sucks. It
I guess you
really
have to
sucks.
pay up.
Got to pay up. Got to pay up. Yes, I am a man of my word, and I will follow through any bet that I make. So, yeah, everything's going well then. Other than that, it's Sunday. It's football season. It's beautiful. I love it. It's that time of year. Hockey's right around the corner. Regular season starting up. Preseason is
Yes,
officially
sir.
over.
Two
We
more
can
days.
finally start. Yeah, we can finally start getting involved a little bit more and get back into 2 episodes per week here now that the season's about to ramp up. So why don't we go ahead and kick it off, Matt, buddy? And first and foremost, for you guys returning, thanks for returning. We really do appreciate it. If you are new, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, make sure you are rating us 5 stars and that you are following us. Turns frowns upside down. Right, Matt?
Yeah, we don't have Derek's octopus here, but
No
I guess my
octopus.
smile will suffice.
It works. We like it, buddy. We like it out here. All right. So let's kick things off with around the league news. Around the league news, what do we got today? We got Ryan Hartman, who signed a 3-year, $4 million deal with the Minnesota Wild. Short and sweet, Matt. Good deal, not a good deal. What do you think about that one?
I think it's probably pretty fair value for him. I do remember a couple years ago he was actually a pretty decent player for them. I gotta be honest with you, I don't really know much about the Minnesota Wild, and also even less about Ryan Hartman. But yeah, pretty good deal. I'm sure it's not one that they're gonna regret signing.
Yeah. I do remember that one year that he was traded from Chicago. I can't remember if it was to Minnesota, but I know that he was traded. Chicago was able to get a first out of him. I don't think that he truly lived up to that expectation when he was traded to the team. I kind of want to look it up now, but as I'm speaking, but yeah, I mean, Minnesota is just one of those weird teams, right? Where they kind of always find themselves in the murky middle, even with having a player like Kaprizov. It's even been that way since they had Zach Parise and Ryan Suter. And so let's see, he was traded to Nashville. Okay, and then he got traded to Philly and then signed with Minnesota. Okay, so that's pretty good to him. Pretty good for him. Back in 2019-20, he's been with Minnesota since. So, in 21-22, I didn't realize he scored this many points, but he put up 34 goals, 65 points in 82 games. That's pretty damn good. Last season kind of fell off a little bit, 37 points in 59 games, 15 goals. I think Minnesota here is just really hoping that he rebounds back from this, but $4 million, not too bad, especially with the cap going up. We'll discuss that here shortly. But let's go on to the next player, which would be Jamie Drysdale. which we talked about in the last episode, how him and Zegras still didn't have any contracts. And as soon as that episode came out, Trevor Zegras signed his deal. Trevor Zegras signed 3-year extension for $5.75 million each year. Jamie Drysdale was able to get locked in for 3 years at a very, very low $2.3 million cap hit. Matt, what do you think about this deal? You like it? You don't like it? What do you think overall?
What I think overall is Jamie Drysdale should probably fire his agent because this is not a great deal for him at all. I think if you're Anaheim, you're probably saying to the doubters out there, like, listen, this is why we do things the way we do it. Like, Pat Verbeek over there, he comes from that Steve Yzerman school of negotiating, where sure you love these players, like this is supposed to be like one of their like franchise pieces, like a cornerstone on their defense, and I think he still will be, but you know it's all the same. They like to grind down their players there, and he did, and he got him on a pretty decent deal for the team. The one thing I don't really like about this is when this deal is up, he's really dangerously close to being a UFA. So you better hope if you're Anaheim that the guys like Leo Carlson hit. Obviously Zegras, you hope he continues to be better. Whoever else they have over there. Basically, you're just hoping that if you're Anaheim by the end of this deal, you're looking a lot more decent, and he actually wants to stay. So, yeah, I think all in all, for the team, it's a win. For Drysdale, not so much, but I still think he is going to end up making the big bucks eventually. Like, I don't see him being a low value player ever. I think he's going to be a really, really good defenseman. So, this is kind of just walking him closer to getting that big payday. So, yeah, all in all, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I agree. I I'm a little surprised that it is 3 years. I'm more surprised on how cheap it is. Granted, he only played 8 games and he didn't put up any points last season, but the season prior in 21-22, 32 points in 81 games. That injury hopefully doesn't hurt his overall play. I mean, granted, I'm not a Ducks fan, but I love the player. This is a player that I was really into during his draft year and was kind of seeing that Detroit would draft him, right? He was drafted in 2020, the Lucas Raymond year. I didn't know if the Red Wings were gonna be able to move up in the draft and kind of draft him, seeing as though that he is a right-handed shooting defenseman. Now we have ASP, literally 3 years later, so it works out for us in that sense. But yeah, no, you're right, Matt. He will still be an RFA when this contract's done. It does put him pretty close to the UFA years, but maybe their idea is that once they build up enough cap, um, once those 3 years are over, him and Zegras both are going to be expecting new deals by then. You just pay them both, or one of them just ends up walking away because you will have Leo Carlson that you'll have to sign as well in 3 years. So, as well as some other players, you got Cam Fowler, Radko Gudas, just some other notable names on there that the Ducks are going to have to sign. Then, and they still have over $9 million left at their expense too, right? So they're kind of playing the same game as Steve Yzerman is with the Red Wings, right? Where you still have enough cap if you want to add, but you're not spending money just to spend it just because you have it, right? Which is good, right? But no, you're right though. Jamie Drysdale should fire his agent because he definitely could have gotten not even $1 million more or two. Like I felt like 4 would have been great. I mean, 32 points in a season for a defenseman, I think that's pretty good, especially for a young player like him. So nonetheless, good looks on him. Congratulations on the deal. Now both players can start practicing, playing with the team, and hopefully have a good regular season. So that way they can strangle the Ducks going into their next contracts and expect a little bit more. All right, let's talk about some fighting and some gnarly hits so far during this preseason. So LA Kings Arthur Kaliyev gets the first suspension of the year. He is suspended 2 preseason games and 2 regular season games for his knee-to-knee hit on Ducks player Chase De Leo. I hope I'm saying that properly, but Matt, I'm not sure if you saw that hit. Did you see the video of it? What did you think of it?
Well, I did see the hit. I didn't really see the context around it. I don't know if it was accidental or on purpose. But yeah, it definitely looked painful. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I do remember that when we played Chicago, I think it was Elmer who collided with someone on Chicago, and that
Yep.
was also a knee on knee hit. I don't think that kid ever had any like suspension coming to him. So just player safety again. You get a suspension. Oh, but you did the same thing, so you don't get a suspension. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't think they'll ever get it right, but it doesn't seem like something that's very hard to get right. But yeah, I don't know why this stuff is happening in preseason. To be honest, like I get it. There's some players that are trying to make the team. Maybe they think, okay, my skills aren't up to NHL standards. My whatever, my hockey IQ, whatever it is. So they just kind of resort to showing their club that they can throw the body around because you know there's no shortage of that with NHL teams. They always want tough guys. So who knows? Maybe that's why that happened. Maybe he was just trying to be a little too aggressive. I don't really know too much about Arthur Kaliyev, but I've never really known him to be a super, not even like physical player. I've never known him to be like a dirty player to do something like this. So yeah, it's a tough look. He'll take his 2 games and hopefully he learns from it and doesn't do this shit again because we don't like seeing this in hockey. It's never something that really needs to happen, but unfortunately it does.
Yeah, Arthur Kaliyev this past season, he was half a point per game player in 56 games, put up 28 points, 13 goals. Got to play in 2 playoff games, no points recorded. He's only 22 years old. I don't think that the hit is necessary, right? Like you probably just went a little too hard when you probably shouldn't have. I get it. It is preseason. You should be trying to get up to game regular season form, right? You have to start doing that or else you won't be ready and you have to secure your spot in the lineup as well. So I get it. You have to play hard, but you also have to play smart. That was not smart hockey whatsoever. That's Bush League. It's not needed, especially in preseason, right? Let alone the regular season. So yeah, player safety, same thing, kind of helping to Elmer. Not as bad, but still the same hit. Just same thing, different year. They're still gonna get it wrong. They're probably always going to get it wrong. But 2 preseason games, 2 regular season games, stuck their foot down and told them, no, you can't be doing this kind of stuff. And so good on them for at least getting that right. But yeah, it kind of sucks that they weren't able to see that with Elmer Soderblom. But I do know that Chase DeLeo, he's out for quite some time. So I think that is partially the reason why he was suspended. And
That makes
Elmer
sense.
Titter, whoever it was kind of let go scot free. So let's go into the next topic. Kind of similar, but fighting in preseason, is it necessary? I'm bringing this up because Sidney Crosby decided to go after Peyton Krebs for his hit on Chris Letang, which it wasn't all Peyton Krebs. I'm pretty sure, remembering back to the video that I saw, the clip of it, Letang pretty much just got sandwiched behind the net on the boards. And so Crosby just decided to take it into his own hands and fight Peyton Krebs. What do you think about fighting in preseason? Do you really think it's necessary, especially when you have someone like Sidney Crosby? I mean, we were just talking about it right before this recording, right? Mantha versus Casper. Looks really bad on Mantha for fighting someone like Casper,
Mm-hmm.
but looks somewhat good for Casper fighting someone like Mantha because this kid wants a roster spot, right? But is it necessary, Matt? Is it not?
It's never really necessary, but it pretty much always is funny, especially when Crosby's the one fighting. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think players like Casper, we know Casper's game kind of by this time. Like he's a very physical forward. He's the guy who's gonna like kind of get under your skin, maybe more like a not really like a Tyler Bertuzzi because I don't think he has like the same offensive upside as him, but he does play a very like mean, like on edge game. I think you can play that sort of game without getting into a fight, but for the players out there like the young guys like Casper and just really any other young player trying to make the team, uh I like we watch these games and we're like, yeah, this is preseason. Like I don't care if we lose by 7 goals, it's preseason, it doesn't matter. For these kids trying to make the team, preseason probably matters to them more than the regular season game does because like this is their audition. This is like
Yeah.
them going out and saying, okay, I am going to do literally everything I can to make this team because it's my dream to be an NHL hockey player. So I kind of get it. Like if you're playing a game like that, maybe the wires get crossed sometimes when you're out on the ice. Maybe you have the pressure and the stress of trying to make the team and not wanting to play in the AHL weighing on you. So the wires get crossed a little bit and you blow your top. It happens. It happens for guys like Marco Casper. Really shouldn't happen for guys like Sidney Crosby, though. I don't know where that came from. That might be his first fight in his career. Like, when has he ever fought before? So, yeah, that was hilarious that
That's a
he
good
was fighting.
question.
He didn't
Yeah.
even look that bad, too. He was
Yeah.
actually throwing some good shots. So, yeah, but I don't know. I guess to wrap it up, like I think it's more of a not a necessity, but it's more of like a thing for younger players to try and display how tough they are, especially for a team like Detroit. We know how they're being built. We really, really want like everyone in the lineup to, have that like stick to it factor, especially after the Ottawa games. We don't want any of our players to back down when they're getting challenged. So yeah, I think it's I have mixed feelings on fighting, I guess.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I don't think it's necessary. I guess if you want to send a message to young players, but Payne Krebs really isn't. He's still a young player, but he's been in the league for at least 2 years now.
Yeah, couple
Excuse
seasons.
me, I believe. Um, so I get it. It's against Chris Letang. You're the captain on the team, so you want to send a message to your teammates, to the other team that, hey, you mess with my teammates, I'm going to mess with you. F around and find out, that kind of thing, And so if you got to do it, then you got to do it. It's part of the game, but if you're someone like Crosby, what are you doing? Just let
Right.
someone else. Like you're the best player on your team, far none. And so the last thing that they probably want is for you to break a hand or do something else. And so necessary? No. Sometimes it's warranted. So good looks on Crosby, honestly. That's probably the only time I'm ever gonna say that. I hate you so much with a passion. 09 Cup
I
still on my mind.
I I I,
Um
I don't like him either, but I do respect the hell out of him. I'll say that.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I respect him as a player. One of the greatest players ever, but no, the '09 Cup, it's still salt in my wounds. It's still flowing through me and hurts. But all right, Matt. Let's go into something a little bit sweeter. So let's talk about Gary Bettman, who says very preliminary estimate cap next year for the 24-25 season is going to be between 87 and 88 million dollars. He stresses it is very preliminary. Excited? Not excited? Cap's going up about $3.5 to $4.5 million. So gives teams a little bit of extra room to breathe and sign some players. What does this mean exactly for the Red Wings? They still have, I believe it's just under $5 million, maybe a little bit over $5 million. But going into next season, let's see here, they are projected to have just under $31 million. So what does this mean for a team like the Detroit Red Wings that the cap's going on?
Honestly, for a team like the Red Wings and really any other team who's getting a lot of space next season, this just means that they're going to load up and go headhunting in free agency. I think the big name next year is Nylander. I haven't really looked at the free agents for next year, but I know that
Mhm.
Nylander is a big one. That really means like we're going to have what, like 35 million with this cap going up. So we're going to have some money to play with. And, not to mention, if we don't get it done this season, we're going to need to sign Raymond Insider. That gives us a lot more room to work with. I think, Steve Eisman will always be the type of guy to grind his players down, but I don't think he'll have to do it as aggressive now that there's more money to play with. I really think not only just with the Red Wings, but the league in general, the cap going up is just only a good thing.
Yeah.
Really, probably for everyone but the owners, I guess, because now there's more money to go around. Players are going to get bigger deals. We're for sure going to see another record-breaking deal. Someone will be making more than McDavid. Will it be Connor Bedard? Who knows? Probably not. He sucks. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very good thing that the cap is going up. Like it finally feels like the NHL is recovering a little bit from the COVID season, because I mean we all know how bad that was for just sports in general. We don't really need to revisit that, but yeah, I'm happy to see the cap going up. I think it's really going to help everybody out across the league.
Yeah, yeah, the cap overall, it definitely is good for the league. It's the owners will make all their money back just from the beer
Yeah, they
sales.
will.
I mean, the beer alone, it costs $13 at Detroit just for a beer, which is ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't know why I continuously keep going to a game and keep buying beer, but I do. Um, I need it flowing through my veins. But and for a Red Wings team, yeah, having just under $31 million next season, you're right. That means that you can target someone like a William Nylander. Stamkos will be on the open market. Maybe that's someone that you can entice to come through.
Yep.
I know that we already have JT Compher and Andrew Kopp, potentially Marco Casper and Nate Danielson next year. So that might be a little tough. Maybe we don't have a need for Steven Stamkos, even though you easily could insert him as your 2C, maybe even as a 3C. Who knows? But I think he might be a little more expensive than what we really want. So Nylander would be the best target to go after. You can never have enough high scoring wingers. And based on preseason, from our young players, there were standouts, but I would say that there's not really too many. We don't have any Nylanders in our prospect pool, right? We don't have anyone that has really that clutch gene, at least that we know of right now currently. Could we have
Well,
one of those?
maybe, maybe. I mean, we don't really know what Danielson is yet. Like,
Right.
obviously, we're gonna get to this a little later, but like Danielson has looked like a player, man. And not to
Yeah.
mention, like, not even like we're just talking forwards in general. Like Santin Pelika on the blue line, man. This kid is on fire in the SHL. He's got like
Yep.
4 or 5 goals already in the SHL, a men's league, and he's what, probably still 18, maybe 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we got some game breakers, man. I'm excited for the future.
Yeah. I really am too. Um, but overall, no, this is great for the league. I kind of wish it was a little more because compared to other leagues, it's not a lot, right? Look at NBA players; they're making 100 million
Oh
for
yeah.
the 4 years that they signed with their clubs, right? It's just
Yep.
absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, you're right. Eventually, we will be seeing someone making more than Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews, right? Austin Matthews currently holds the highest contract going into next season. So we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe there will be a player that actually makes more than Matthews before his contract even starts to begin. So we'll wait and see. All right, Matt, this one's dedicated to you, so I'll let you go ahead and take this one over. But let's talk about recent drafted players and their preseason debuts and who's kind of shining and who's kind of not. So let's go ahead and talk about some of those players that are shining.
All right. Yeah, let's go right into it. So, yeah, with all the drafted players, we actually have quite a few who have been pretty impressive for their clubs. Probably a few that are surprising names and some that are, to be expected. Obviously, Adam Fantilli. I think as of today, this is not really an updated list. This is from 2 days ago, but I think as of today, Adam Fantilli has 4 points. Connor Bedard has five. Zach Benson at 13th overall has 7 points in preseason. He looks like a steal, which I don't really think anyone's surprised at that, Zach. I
Right.
remember all the way back to our pre-draft episodes, we had him going in the top 10. I guess NHL GMs didn't feel the same, but now they're kind of paying for it and they're looking stupid with their pants down because he's just spanking everyone in the preseason. And right there in the middle, we got our boy, Nate Danielson. 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in the preseason. As of today, we should have the final cuts. I don't know, at some point today. I guess it'll be
At
later in
some
the day.
point.
We would have thought it would be in the morning, but no. But he's still on the roster. So that's very exciting. I mean, what do we think about that, Zach? Is this guy going to play the 9 games in the NHL before he goes to junior?
I don't know, Matt. Y'all gonna have to stick around and find out because that is one of our main topics. So we'll talk about that
Yeah.
a little bit later. But no, I think that this is a good look on Nate Danielson. A lot of people had him pegged that if you would have swapped him in ASP in the draft, that no one would have been surprised at that. But obviously, Steve Eiserman and company had different ideas that he was a top center in this previous draft. Adam Fantilli, not surprised. Zach Benson, a little surprised, but not really. We were pretty high on
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
We were, right? And so not really surprised, but like I said, I'm a little surprised that he's doing this well. Do I think that he makes the Buffalo team? No, I think he's gonna go. I think he goes and plays in college. I could be wrong, but
No, he'll play in the WHL again.
yeah. Okay.
Same. It's the
Yeah.
same team he played for.
Okay. So yeah, within a year or two, we'll be seeing him on Buffalo, and they have
Oh yeah.
they're going to be so hard to play against in the next 5 years, right? They're
Yeah.
10
They kind of
years
already
even.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, 100%. I mean, just the amount of talent, especially up front, down low in their defense. Goaltending is pretty much one of their bigger questions. Hopefully, Devin Levi can work out for him, but hopefully for us, he doesn't. So
Right.
we can go past them. But no, all good stuff from all these players. So you brought up Bedard. So let's talk about a little bit of Bedard. Only one goal in the preseason, and it came against the Red Wings in an empty net. He didn't look too happy that it was an empty net. But then again, he's kind of one of those players where he's like McDavid, he's like Crosby, where it's all about business, right? And granted, you probably shouldn't be celebrating preseason goals very hard, but should Hawks fans be worried about Connor Bedard right now that he doesn't have a legitimate goal against an NHL caliber goaltender? What do you think, Matt?
I don't know, Zach. I mean, I'd be a little concerned. He's getting thrown around by AHL defensemen. He couldn't even get past William Wallander and Antti Tuomista when he played against them. And yeah, I don't know if you realize this, Zach, through your years watching hockey, but in the regular season, do they have goalies in the net that you have to score on? I could be wrong, but don't they have goalies you have to get the puck past? They do. They do have that. And Connor Bedard has not done that yet. So, you know, obviously we're trolling. Don't flame us in the comments, please. We're obviously trolling. He is going to be one of the best players in the NHL one day. Will it be this season? I don't know. I mean, when is the last time a rookie came in and dominated the regular season? Probably Matthews or McDavid, but McDavid didn't even finish the whole season, so we didn't get to see that. But I think Connor Bedard will be fine. Obviously, he's not going to be in the AHL. He will be on the NHL roster, probably skating on the top line, at least the second. I'm excited to watch him. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily hate him. I just hate that he's on the Blackhawks. It's going to be very exciting to watch him. It's going to be must-see TV. I mean, he's going to be playing the first game of the season. Like, he's on national TV already going up against Crosby. So, you know, and I know we also like to complain about, like, oh my God, anytime Connor Bedard gets the puck past the defenseman, it has to be national news. I got to be honest with you, though, Zach. What, like, our biggest complaint is every single NHL star, the NHL has no idea how to market them. Just no clue whatsoever. This is probably their best chance to get it right. Like, this guy's
Yeah.
just now coming in. If I was the NHL, I'd be like, you know what? We got to just get this kid's name everywhere. Because it's the best thing that they can do right now. So, yeah, I'm very excited to watch him. I really love that when he played against Danielson, I don't think he even had any points. Like, I do remember all the way back to the draft, like the interviews that Bedard said the hardest person to play against was Danielson. So, yeah, he's going to be a special player. Having Danielson and Chicago having Bedard makes me miss that rivalry, and I wish we played the Hawks a lot more often because that would be must-see TV whenever we play them.
Yeah, no, we're definitely trolling a little bit. I'm not worried about Bedard. I do think that he will be a lethal player in the NHL. I do think that this is going to be his toughest year, his first year,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I think a lot of teams are going to bully him. A lot of teams are going to pick on him this year. I think that he will get to 20 goals. I don't think that he will get over 60 points, though. I think it's going to be tough. I do think that he's going to get more assists than he does goals. He feeds the puck pretty well, especially to a player like Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall can
Oh, yeah.
finish the puck. Bedard, sometimes it just looks like he has a lot more than he needs to figure out, right? Like he could do all these sweet dipsy doodle dangles, kind of like how McDavid does it, but he has to figure out how to finish those, right? And McDavid was able to figure that out fairly quickly, right? And it's kind of like you said, he got injured his first year. He only played like 30 something games. And so we didn't get to fully see him. And then the next year, he just, boom, came guns a blazing, right? And so the Hawks fans should lower their expectations in terms of points and how many he's going to get. Should you be worried about him? No. I think low key, I think that you should be hoping that he kind of gets not as many points. You want to have another good draft pick, right? You want another top 3 draft pick. You want a Macklin Salabrini. You want Cole Eiserman. You want either one of those 2 players, right? And that'll make your team so much better. So chin up, have fun. Connor Bedard, you're amazing. I hate that you're a Blackhawk still, but it was a pleasure meeting you at the draft. I had a lot of fun. All right, Matt. That's enough around the league news. Let's go ahead and talk about some Red Wings news. Not really too much, other than our community tab, which is still going on for the top 15 under 23 prospect pipeline that originally originated through The Athletic doing an article about it, and we decided to do our own. So go on over to our community tab on our YouTube channel and place your votes. I believe we're on pick 12. I could be wrong. Someone let me know. I'll be updating that today because I know I've been lackadaisical on that one. But all right, other than that, Dmitry Buchelnikov. He's on loan to the Admiral. Oh my goodness. Vladivostok.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Sure.
I'm trying to pronounce
Listen
it
up.
so hard right now. I'm so sorry, everyone. Anyways, yeah, he's on loan to a KHL team. It basically means that he's going to get regular KHL playing time. He was with I think it's CSKA, basically the same team that Michkov was on, and Michkov had to be loaned once again to Sochi. I don't know what CSKA has going on over there. It must be super difficult. They must have superstars all over their lineup for 2 players that clearly know how to play the game of hockey in the KHL to not have them on the roster and playing them little minutes. I'm pretty sure with Michkov, he was only playing like 8 minutes a game. And then ever since moving over to Sochi, he's been tearing it up, right? And so good on Dmitry Buchelnikov because I do know, I believe it's the MHL or the VHL, whichever one of those. He was tearing it up in those leagues too. So good to see that he's getting bumped up into there. In other news, Red Wings have released Artem Anisimov from his PTO. I thought he could have been a good GRG player, Grand Rapids Griffins players. And just another body to come up when injuries happen, right? Centers are needed all the time, right? And, he has that NHL experience. And so I definitely thought that he could have been someone that we could have kept. But obviously, if we have center injuries, then you call someone up like a Marco Casper or something, or maybe even Amadeus Lombardi. We'll just have to wait and see. But players that were assigned to Grand Rapids Griffins, I don't have this updated. I should have updated it today, but Dossett, Casper, Lombardi, Johansson, Tuomisto, Vero, Wallander, and Kosa have all been assigned to Grand Rapids Griffins. I do know that Letterman was assigned to Toledo. So Sebastian Kosa is automatically a Grand Rapids Griffin. I didn't have this written down, but how do you feel about that? Are we surprised? Obviously we're happy about that if he can stay with Grand Rapids, but is it just going to be the same situation as it was in Toledo where he just kind of splits time, or is he going to be the starter? What does Sebastian Kosa have to do, basically, Matt?
Jeez, man. I mean, for his sake and our sake, I really hope he's not splitting time because, I mean, after what he did in Toledo last year, if he goes back to the ECHL, that's a huge concern. That's a huge red flag. No, I think he'll be the backup there. I still don't know who the starter is. I actually think it's Hutchinson. I did see that he got signed to PTO in the Griffins or something. I don't
He
know,
got
man.
released. He
Oh,
got
he got released.
released.
Okay, dude. There's
Yeah.
so many players. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy I won't. I'm happy I won't have to see his disgusting gray pads again. That shit was awful. But I don't know. I mean, I hope Kosa can take the starting job. We kind of need him to. Like he's, I feel like I'm kind of biased, so to say, because the last time I saw him play was the prospect tournament, and we don't really need to revisit that because that was horrendous. But he got a few games in Detroit. didn't look too bad. I think I saw him play like half of one game in the preseason. He didn't look horrible. I don't know. I just hope he can spend the whole year in Grand Rapids. That feels like it's the next step that he needs to take. But yeah, other than him, I don't know who's going to be the goalie. I guess the Red Wings don't decide to go with three goalies. One of Reimer or Lyon will be the goalie there. So, that wouldn't be the worst thing for Kosa. Get one of those guys down there. They're both, well, Reimer's a veteran. I don't really actually know how old Lyon is, but yeah, if you have Reimer in Grand Rapids, that's a good person to learn from. So, yeah, I guess we'll see how it turns out. I just hope that he can, be more solid in front of AHL competition.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure who the starter is going to be. It's going to be between Reimer and Lyon, I believe, unless the Red Wings just decide that they want to start the season off with three goaltenders. Personally, I was talking to a buddy and I said, I think for the first 15 games, that's the way you should ride it out. You have to give both Reimer and Lyon a fair shot at trying to battle for that backup position. Possibly even for the starting position, we really don't even know what's going to come out of Husso. I mean, after watching Husso last night, I mean, up against a AHL Toronto team, when your team is NHL caliber stacked, right? He still let in 3 goals. Um,
I mean, that could
yeah,
just be attributed to rust. He didn't play that much this preseason. It was mostly like the
yeah,
backups. So I wouldn't
yeah,
read too much into that.
right, yeah. But if you did do it that way, where you had the 3 goaltenders starting out on Detroit, that's a 15 game look that you have for Kosa, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of figure out, like what do we need to do to get this guy to stand on his head game in and game out and get him more prepared for the NHL sequence and everything. Okay, yeah, so Michael Hutchinson was released from professional tryouts. So I really don't know who the other goaltender will be if Letterman goes. So I Kosa just has to do whatever he can to be a regular AHL starter at this point, right? Especially when you have a player like Jesper Wallstedt, who we could have drafted, who's been with the AHL. Um, I think it's the Wild. In
Mm-hmm.
there, I don't know what their affiliate team is named, but we could have had him, and he's been in the league in the AHL league since last year. So that's how people are comparing it, and that's fair to compare, right? Um,
I'd say
they
so.
both were highly ranked goaltenders. And so, yeah, the next step for Kosa is to take their starting gig for the Grand Rapids Griffins and run with it. You have to nut up and shut up and start being that number one tendy so that way you can be on the Red Wings here. Hopefully in 2 years. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. So, all right. Let's talk about our main topics now, Matt. We talked a little bit about Nate Danielson, but we'll include Elmer Soderblom in here too. Both of these players are waiting to hear what the final cuts are going to be like. Can they make the final cut? What are the chances? Let's talk about Nate Danielson first, right? So Nate Danielson, he finished off the preseason with 2 goals, 2 assists, so 4 points in 4 games. Point per game player. Granted, it is preseason, but for someone who just turned 19 a week ago, that's some really good stuff. And it's not like that he was playing with a couple games he got to play with Larkin, Raymond, Alex DeBrincat, but not on their lines. So he was playing with some NHL caliber talent. Some games he wasn't. He didn't look that out of place. There were a couple mistakes that he would make, but like that one play that he made against Connor Bedard, he just pickpocketed him. Very simple, very
Yeah.
good looking player out there on the ice. He just knows where to go. And I said this on the last episode, the puck gravitates towards him. He just
Mm-hmm.
knows where to be at all points throughout the game. Um, and his last goal, it was a really nice tip. All he had to do was just move towards the slot in the ice, tip the puck in, and it goes in. It was awesome. So what do you honestly think that he makes the roster?
Honestly, I've been thinking about this. I think it's honestly better for him to go back to junior. I honestly don't know if he does. To be completely honest with you. All the free agents that he got this summer, plus also trading for Alex DeBrincat, it kind of feels like all the guys we got this summer will be the guys on opening night. Maybe you have Berggren or Soderblom in. I don't think Danielson's going to be one of those guys, and I don't think that's a bad thing for him necessarily. I really want him to just go back to junior. Yeah, his team is probably still going to suck, but it will be better than last year when he just basically carried them like a 1920 version of Larkin. Um, but yeah, he's going to go back to junior. He's going to dominate his peers. He'll play for Canada at the World Juniors and probably also dominate there. I'm not worried about the kid at all. Next year, who knows? Maybe next year he makes the team. But also the AHL next year wouldn't be bad either, and he can dominate that. I think I've liked what I've seen from him. I think it's just these 4 points this preseason, and he wasn't only playing against like prospects and like AHLers. He played against Toronto's big boys and scored a
Yeah.
goal. So like he's been very impressive. I think these what we've seen from him, that's what we can expect for his career in Detroit. Like I really feel like this is just like a little showcase of what he can do. Then he'll just go and cook down in WHL. He'll cook a little bit in the AHL, and then he'll be here. And you never know. Maybe he'll win a Calder. He's a very very impressive player. Um, yeah, I don't think he's a guy you need to rush though. I really don't. If this was the Red Wings of like 3 years ago and their 3C was, I mean, I don't actually even want to know who it was because it'll depress me. Probably Franz Nielsen. Like, I mean, I think at that point
Yeah.
he'd be on the team. But yeah, no, I think he's gonna be just fine in the WHL. He's probably gonna put up a point every night, maybe two or three. Like he's just gonna be a stud. So I'm very happy with what I've seen from him. I have no reservations about him. I didn't really have any on draft night either. I was just like, well, okay, that's a pretty good pick. I
Okay,
don't know.
Matt, I'm so sorry. I hate to cut you off, but there's an update. The Detroit Red Wings today signed center Zach Aston Reese to a 1-year, two-way contract.
Okay, cool. I don't even know who that is.
Interesting. Hey, we share the same name. I like it. I'll take it.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's very interesting. So, wow. Okay. I'm pretty sure Zach Aston Reese. I'm about to pull him up now. I don't even know.
Oh, I think he played for the Leafs last year, didn't he? I think I
I
know who
think
that
he was
is.
with. I think he was with Pittsburgh too at one point. Was he not?
Don't ask me, dude. I don't know. I don't. I'm worried about my team. Okay, that's not bad. I mean, sure. I don't know anything about him. I know all of you listening are like, "Oh my god, break the news! Break the news! Let us know who this is." I can't really tell you who this is. Probably he'll just be a good depth piece.
Yeah.
Who
All
knows?
right.
He'll be like like the Zarniks and the Luffs of the world, where like you get an injury, they're coming up from the AHL. I'm sure that's all it's going to be.
He definitely is going to be a big depth player for us. He's 29 years old, same age as I am. He's from Staten Island, New York. Shoots left, 6 foot, 204 pounds. He's an undrafted player. Good to
Okay,
know. So yeah,
cool.
he was undrafted, signed 2-year deal with Pittsburgh back in 2017-18. He comes from the Toronto Maple Leafs. So you were right, he did play for them last year.
Yep.
In 77 games, he put up 10 goals, 4 assists for 14 points, 1 point in the playoffs in 6 games. So definitely a depth piece,
Okay.
Zach Aston Reese. And so I don't know where they're going to put him in the Grand Rapids lineup. Um, it
Probably
also,
middle six, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, probably, maybe even in the top six. I mean, I doubt that the Red Wings go heavy with young players, right? I mean, they still have a Hiroshi, they still have a Dominic Shine. Now you have to include Zach Aston Reese. Um, Zach Aston Reese, I don't even know what position he plays. I could be a winger, could be a center,
For
but
for sure forward.
left
I know
wing,
that.
right wing is what he is. And so I was
Okay.
going to say, I don't know how you let go Artem Anisimov from his PTO to then going Zach Aston Reese. I mean, I do you really think Zach Aston Reese is a better player than Artem Anisimov? Younger for sure, but
Well, there you go.
um,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, is he better? I don't know. He's definitely younger. So there you go.
yeah,
That's pretty much all you need to know. Who's in their prime and who isn't? Zach Aston Reese is in his prime. So there you go.
could be potential there. You never know.
Could be.
But
Never know.
so so for me with Nate Danielson, I think I said this last episode. I think that he does make the opening night roster, or at least the final cut. I'm changing my mind to where I said it was opening night roster. I think he makes the final cut. You remember last season when we had Simon Edvinsson called up and he had his 9-game stint, but it was
Yep.
prolonged by sitting him like in between games as well.
Yep.
I would not have a problem if they did that with Nate Danielson. Let me ask you this, Matt. When
I
hold
kind of
on,
would.
hold on. When was the last time we saw a player this good in the preseason? Lucas Raymond, right? And what
Yeah.
happened with Lucas Raymond? He made the team only because he was able to. We had the space to do it, right? So I get that, right? But when you get players like this, I would want him to be on the team making the final cut to just get the exposure, right? Not so much as, hey, we need you to go out there and be the shutdown guy. We need you to go out there and score all these goals. That's not what I'm looking for, but I want him to get the exposure. He, based on what he did in the WHL last year, over a point per game player, right? Okay, great. And you were the captain of your team. Great. You have leadership, you know how to score, and you know how to produce just in general, right? You're a great player. It's one of those situations where, like Michael Rasmussen, we had him play because they looked at him. They're like, well, we know that you're probably not going to learn that much more by playing in that league, right? It could be the similar situation with Nate Danielson. However, the idea for me is that you do eventually send him back, right? Before he goes over those 9 games. And so if you can keep him for, let's say, 15 games where you're spreading it out, right? Where he plays 1 game, you give him a break, let him watch from the press box, play the next game. If you can do something like that, I think that's great, right? I just look at this roster and it's just tough, right? Like who do you pick for him to take over in that sense? I mean, are you going to put him over Danielson or not Danielson, Veleno? Are you going to take out someone like a Fisher? Are you going to take out someone like I don't know. I really don't know. Would we feel comfortable putting him in the bottom 6? And by bottom 6, I mean on the 4th line. Is that the smartest decision? Probably not. Could he still learn from the 4th line? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to limit his minutes and you think that that's going to give him some exposure, do it. Some people think that that's not the way to go about it. This is a player that needs a lot of playing time, but I also do not know how. What team does he play for in the WHL again? Brandon Wheat Kings. Jesus, I
Yep.
just answered the question
There you go.
myself. I don't know how they're doing this season. I don't know how much better that they got. There's a reason why they've kept him this long, though. You can't tell me that they kept him this long throughout the preseason and roster cuts just for shits and giggles, right? There has to be a reason.
Yeah.
And part of me wants to think that they're going to go this route like they did with Simon Edvinsson, where he plays a game, doesn't play, then he plays a game, plays his 9 games, then they send him back. I really don't see anything wrong with that. Are you on agreement with me or are you disagreeing with me on that? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I hear what you're saying about getting exposure. I don't feel like Nate Danielson at 19 needs exposure to the NHL now, to be completely honest with you. I think he's still going to be a fantastic player, whether or not he plays this year. And also, the Detroit Red Wings' success this season is not like Nate Danielson playing does not make or break their success. Like, they have on every single forward line, every forward is NHL caliber. Like, this is not 2020, 2021 again, where like we're just throwing something on there to see what sticks. Like, this team has actual NHL depth at this point. So you're not really missing anything by not playing him. I do hear what you're saying though. I mean, why else would he still be on the team or on the roster, not necessarily the team? I just think with a young guy like this, I really feel like the best thing for him, really not like playing in junior is the best thing for him. I think the best thing for this kid is to play for Team Canada at the World Juniors and win a gold medal and be like
Yeah.
one of the best, if not the best player on that team because Connor Bedard probably won't be playing on that team. Macklin Celebrini, I think, will be on that team. So, other than Danielson, I guess he'd be a better player. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I think that's the most important thing for him is to be on that team and just light it up. If that guy can lead that team to a gold medal, oh man, do we ever have a player on our hands. I think maybe at the end of the year, I think with this year, we're kind of hoping we push for a playoff spot. So I really hope it's not like all the years past. We're like, okay, we're out of the playoffs. We sold our players off for the future. Hey, let's get these prospects in and see how they are. I really hope we can make a push this year because I feel like we could. I really do feel like we could. This is probably one of the better years to do it, just with the way our team is built, and also
Yeah.
the Atlantic. It's still very good, but you have some top teams that might fall a little bit. So I think the time to strike is now. I don't know. I mean, if Nate Danielson is good enough, if their season ends, if Brandon's season ends, which I'm sure they won't be a playoff team, he probably will have time to come over to the Red Wings. Maybe he comes over and he can push them into the playoffs, or maybe the Red Wings make the playoffs, and it's like last year if Matthew Nyes in Toronto, they're like, hey, Nate Danielson, why don't you come on up here and see what it's like to play playoff hockey? Because we're planning on you playing playoff hockey for your whole career because we want to be really good. Hell, we want to win a cup with you. How about 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups? Who cares? Keep going. So, yeah, I guess that's a long-winded way of me saying that I would prefer him to play junior. But, I mean, if the kid's good, Zach, the kid's good. Like,
Yeah.
we're talking about Connor Bedard winning Rookie of the Year because he's fucking good. Like, if he wasn't good, he'd play junior. If Nate Danielson plays 9 games and he has 9 goals, he's not going back to junior. He's staying on the Red
Right.
Wings. Someone's getting kicked off the team because he's just too good. So, I guess we'll wait and see. We will wait and see.
We will have to wait and see. And so, yeah, that was our long-winded explanation of why and why not Nate Danielson should and won't possibly be on opening night roster. And so let's kind of move that attention over to Elmer Soderblom. I'm a little shocked, honestly, that he has not been cut yet. Is this a situation where he's going to be the 13th forward and he's just sitting in the press box, or is this a player who's ultimately destined for Grand Rapids Griffins? And just to say, neither Nate Danielson or Elmer Soderblom got to play in last night's game. We are recording on Sunday. It is currently almost 12:30 p.m. on Sunday, and so they played last night on Saturday. Is that the case? What did you think about Elmer Soderblom? Do you really think that he made a case to get himself inserted into the opening night roster himself? Me personally, I don't really see too much change this year as there was compared to last year. I personally do not see it. I saw a little bit of it during prospect tournament and training camp, regular season play or preseason play, I should say. It just really wasn't clicking for me. I really didn't see anything. He had 1 goal. That's it. He really needs to work on his speed.
Yeah.
I think that that's his biggest thing, is that he is still such a big body that he's not quick. Smart player, knows how to play his hands. Just really needs to work out a couple more things. So what do you think, Matt? Is he going to be the 13th forward? Do you really think that he's going to make the opening night roster, or ultimately just Grand Rapids Griffins bound?
Dude, I don't even really know at this point with Soderblom. I'm a lot lower on Soderblom than I think a lot of people are. His skating is just not NHL caliber at all. And like I get it, the guy's 6'8". He's a foot taller than me. I couldn't even imagine getting out of bed if I'm 6'8" and walking downstairs. I'd probably fall down the stairs. So imagine me trying to skate an NHL game. I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, he's got to work on his skating, dude, and I think the AHL is the best place for him to do that. But yeah, if his skating does not get any better than it is right now, he won't ever be an NHL regular. I'm just gonna say that right now. Like, sure, he's very skilled. Like we watch him play, like he's got the like puck skills and he's got a good shot too to like be in the NHL. He just has to be able to skate. That's the only thing he's missing. So I want to see him just continue to develop. I want to see him play in the AHL. And also, we keep forgetting that he was injured last year. He missed some time, so
Yeah.
it's not really the worst thing for him to just get another season of minors under his belt and see where he goes from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think Grand Rapids is probably the best bet for him. Um, yeah, the skating overall, I think is just the biggest work that he needs to take care of when he's down there. It's not going to be the worst situation for him. Especially kind of like how you said last season he got injured. Um, and kind of I just don't see the same, what's the word I want to use? Fire, I guess, or not even passion, just ability to take control, and as he did last season, right? There was a reason why he made opening night roster last season, right? And I didn't see that coming into preseason this year. Deeper team, yeah. So didn't really do anything to insert himself into the lineup and be assertive in that situation. So I didn't have this player written down on here, but figure it's warranted. When are we going to see Simon Edvinsson actually called up and sticking with the team? He ended up getting a goal and 2 assists. He looks a lot better than I thought he would. Honestly,
Yeah, dude.
I think he's gotten a lot better since last season. However, the one stickler thing that I'm going to talk about is he still likes to use his reach a lot and trying to break up passes or just plays and just take the puck from players. Sometimes that catches him, and players are able to beat him in that sense. But what do you think overall of Simon Edvinsson? When are we going to see him, and what does he have to do other than an injury happening to insert himself in a lineup where there's 7 defensemen ahead of you?
You know, to be honest, like I know our defense is deeper now that we added Hall and Gossespear and whoever else. I think we added some other people, but I really
Petrie.
still feel like Edvinson could make this team. I really do. I don't think it's as hard as
Yeah,
him to make the team as it is Soderblom. And really, I'm just gonna point to skating again. Like for him being that tall, he's a great skater. He's
yeah.
very good at very good at being in the right position. He's good at skating to open up the ice. Like that goal that he scored, he
One hell of a shot, dude.
that was one hell of a shot. And not only
Yeah,
that, use the skating to open up an opportunity. I mean, that's special, man. You don't see players that tall making plays like that. You really, especially when they're defensemen too. And like,
yeah.
I remember when Evanson got drafted, we did not ever think he'd be doing things like that. That was not exactly his calling card. So, yeah, that was really cool to see. If Evanson is good enough to make the roster, he should. Like, are you really going to look at me dead in the face and say Schrott's better and Hall's better? Fuck no, they're not better. Sit them in the
Right.
press box if he can play. So yeah, I think he makes the team. To be honest, I really do.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble. I do know that he already got sent back down, but
He'll be up.
yeah. So is that when it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen based on injury, or do you think he's just going to outplay in Grand Rapids and someone in Detroit is just going to play like dog shit and they have to
Yeah.
make a choice right then and there and pull him up? Do you think
Well,
that's how it's going to go?
yeah. The funny thing is like we talk about like how hard it is for young players to make this team. All the guys that are on this team, once they throw a pizza up the ice or Sherratt turns around and gives the puck away. Sorry to pick on Sherratt, but it will happen. I promise you it will. As soon as
Yeah.
someone gives a puck away, as soon as someone misses a pass, as soon as someone takes a bad penalty, Edvinson's coming up, Soderblom's coming up, hell, maybe Casper's coming up. Like, no one's job is safe on this roster. Just because they played NHL games doesn't mean they're going to stick there. Like, if Christian Fischer, like, I don't know, if anybody does something, like, I'm not really trying to pick on anyone in particular, just like, if someone makes a big mistake, that's a path for someone to come up. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
feel. And that's a really good problem to have. Like you finally have some guys who can plug in and not look lost out there. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I think injury is always expected, right? Like, so we know
Oh yeah.
that Edmondson could make the lineup if injuries were to happen, but I'm right there with you that I think that, and this isn't to pick on anyone, like you've mentioned a couple times here, but like a Hall, a Sherratt, even someone like Oli Mata, all it takes is
Hmm.
the player, having one bad month, week, half a month, whatever it takes. And the coaches and Iserman just kind of look at you and saying, it ain't really working out right now. We need you to kind of take a break. So we're going to call up Simon Edvinsson and see if, what he can do since he's been tearing it up in Grand Rapids. So yeah, I think that that's probably one way that it's going to happen. I'm banking that that's probably the way that it's going to happen, is that they look at their defense and they're like, well, we have a lot of old defensive players. We should probably insert some youth other than Mo Sider and Jake Wallman into here, right? I They have 4 I believe it's 4 defensemen that are 29 plus. I could be wrong. I don't have
Yep.
it pulled up right now. I keep doing this, but that sounds about right, right? And so eventually it's going to happen. Would you bet over under 50 games for Simon Edmondson this season?
Oh man, I think I do think it's going to be an even split. I think it'll be so. I guess the under. I'd say he plays like 40 something games.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say it's under 50 as well. Um a lot of things have to happen though, right? And
Oh
so
yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see. Um what do you think about Michael Rasmussen playing top line like he did
I
last
love
night?
it. I absolutely love it,
Do you
dude. I'm not
actually
gonna
do you
lie.
actually do you actually think that that is something that they would roll with? Because that is something that I mentioned in episodes ago. We were talking about projecting the opening night roster, and I had Rasmussen. I can't remember if it was top line or second line, but I had him inserted in the top six. Um, are you surprised by this at all?
If you would have told me like 3 months ago in the middle of July that Rasmussen is going to play on the first line, which I think you actually did tell me that, I would have told you that you're insane. And I think I even did tell you that too.
Yeah,
Dude, he looks good though. Like, I mean,
yeah, he does.
when you play with Larkin, like you don't even realize how good you are until you play with Larkin. Like that guy is just he's the type of player that elevates everybody no matter who he plays with. Like all of a sudden Rasmussen knows how to play hockey when he plays with Larkin. Like he looks good. Um yeah, it could be something that they stick with. I don't know if it'll be all season long. I would love to see Raymond play with them. I do feel like that is still going to happen, but I'm digging Rasmussen in the top six, man. I think he could at least play second line winger. That dude is all of a sudden. I mean, not really all of a sudden. We knew how good he was, but like since he's come back from injury, that dude's ready to play hockey, man. I'm excited to see him this season. He might be
Yeah,
my biggest exciting like my player I'm looking forward to the most to seeing.
I think that's the case for a lot of people, and I would agree with you. I mean, he put up 3 goals, 1 assist. In
Yep.
last night's game, he looked really good playing with Larkin and DeBrincat. I mean, granted, he was playing on the right side. Alex DeBrincat likes playing on his off wing, so they put Rasmussen on the
Mm-hmm.
off wing. And Ken and Mick actually made a comment that Rasmussen hasn't really had too many opportunities to play on his off wing, and they kind of joked around a little
Right.
bit about it, and kind of made me think, like, I wonder how many times he has been put on his off wing, because he was drafted to be a center. Now we're pushing him over to the wing. I think that that's the best thing for him. I don't think he
For
should be
sure.
playing center. Um, I'm very excited. He is the dark horse candidate on this team, other than Daniel Sprong, I would say. Um, I do think that there is an opportunity for Rasmussen to get 15 to 20 goals. I really do think that there is an opportunity for him there, especially if he's playing in the top six. The best way that I'd like to view Michael Rasmussen, he is our Walmart version of Tom Wilson.
Yeah.
Honestly,
No, honestly, not even Walmart. Like Tom Wilson is not that good. Like he honestly might be our version of Tom Wilson. Everybody says like just because he got that big extension, oh, Tom Wilson must be a good player. He's got like 50 points once. He's not even good.
yeah.
He just fights people.
Well, and I guess that's how I'm comparing him for sure. Yeah, right. He's the big body. He's the guy who will get in people's faces, and then like he was the guy who will actually go and drive to the net like he did last night. Yeah, that's the only reason why I call him the Walmart version. But
Yeah,
to
I
us,
got
he's
you.
Michael Rasmussen. He's our moose. He's our overall best big bodied player, right? And so I expect a lot of things out of him now. Um, Especially since I was not a fan of him 3 years ago. I was really thinking that he was going to get lost in the weeds of Ken Holland draft picks in the
Yeah.
past. And so I'm really excited for him. Honestly, I really am. And so, Matt, going into the last thing here before we wrap it up and we go through all the players who put points up in the 8 games of the preseason, what are you most excited for and least excited for upcoming this season?
Oh, I'm most excited to see DeBrinket and Larkin play together. I really like
Yes,
how
sir.
they look. I mean, they've been dominating in the preseason.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I'll give you another one. I'm excited to see our power play. I think it's going to look a lot better with Costa Spare there.
Yes.
He is a
Yeah.
very good addition. My least favorite is to have us play in the Atlantic Division. I hate this division so much. Like literally, we could have like an 8 point improvement from last year and still finish like sixth. I hate this division with a passion.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and I'm right there with you. So I'm going to do my best now to not steal your ideas. But for me, what I'm most excited about, I would say, is having a more well-rounded, competitive team. The
Yeah.
depth, just seeing. I want to see Lucas Raymond flourish. I want to see him shooting more. We really didn't get to see that too much in this preseason. He didn't. He went scoreless. He looks like that he's. You can tell out there that he's the weight that he added has definitely helped him out a lot.
Oh, for sure.
Um, but I'm still kind of nervous that we might not get to see a goal happy Lucas Raymond this season. Trying to not be the negative Nancy, I think that he won't eclipse 20 goals, but hopefully he can still put up a decent amount of assists. But I'll just be happy if he does better than his first 2 seasons. That's my expectation. What else am I excited for? I am excited for just hockey in general. I'm so thankful that
Me
we
too.
live in a country that allows us to watch one of the best sports ever created, and
Well,
especially
except
a
for when
Detroit
there's
Red Wing.
blackouts.
Yeah, well, we got ways to look around that. Okay, so well,
That's true.
if you guys are sick of blackouts, let me know. Leave a comment, and I will send you a way to watch all the hockey you want. It's great.
That's fair.
What am I least excited for? Um, oh boy, the refing. I think refing is still
Yep.
going to be an issue.
It will.
Um, NHL player safety, always going to get it wrong. Um, a lot of things are going to be missed. Um, Not really too many I have nothing that I'm not excited about, to be honest, except for the refing. I mean, that's in every sport, right? And
Yeah.
so um that's really about it. Yeah. And so Matt, once I go through this, we're basically done. So let's go ahead and name off all of the players that put up points through the 8 games of the preseason. Some players got to play 5 games. I don't have how many games they have written that they got to play, but I have the amount of points that they have. And so Larkin, 4 goals. Alex DeBrincat, 4 assists. Lucas Raymond, 3 assists. Morris Sider, 2 goals. Danielson, 2 goals, 2 assists. Ghost Bear, 4 assists. Rasmussen, 3 goals, 1 assist. Simon Edvinsson, 1 goal, 2 assists. Wallander, 1 assist. Berggren, who actually came out pretty good. I was shocked, and we
Hmm.
didn't talk about him, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities to talk about Berggren. Um, 1 goal, 3 assists. Hiroshi, 2 assists. Daniel Sprong, who I would
Oh
not be
man,
surprised if that guy gets over 20 goals this season. His
I wouldn't
shot
be
is
surprised if he gets 40. That dude is a
just
fucking maniac.
we basically he's basically our Dominic Kubalik. We replaced
Oh
Dominic
yeah.
Kubalik and we gave
Yep.
him away. So Sprong, 4 goals, 1 assist. His shot last night was amazing.
Yep.
Ole Mata, 2 assists. Fabry, who looks pretty good. Hopefully he can
Hmm.
stay healthy and play a full season. 2 goals, 1 assist. Zarnik, 1 goal. Hannes, 1 goal, 1 assist. He actually looks really good in preseason action too. Andrew
Yep.
Kopp, 2 assists. Andrew Kopp has looked lackluster for me personally. Um, Hall, 2 assists. Comfer, 1 goal, 4 assists. He's looked pretty good out there. Basically just another
Hmm.
Cop, but like a little bit better. Soderblom, 1 goal. Lombardi, 1 assist. Tuomisto, 1 goal. Valeno, he's
Man.
booming.
Yeah.
Honestly, he better break out this year. It's going to be tough for him to play in that 4C, but 3 goals, 2 assists. He got 5 points in 5 games.
He looked good.
That's exactly what you wanted to see out of him.
He looked very
What were you
good.
going to say?
No,
Yeah, he looks
he just
good.
looked very good.
Yeah, he did. Marco Casper, 1 assist. Perron, 3 assists. Costin, 2 assists. Sherratt, 1 goal, 2 assists. Surprisingly, that's
Sure. Why not?
yeah.
That's how
Why
you know it's
not?
preseason, right?
Petrie got 3 assists. Wallman, 1 assist. Dominic Shine, 1 goal, and then Christian Fisher, 2 assists. Matt, that's it, buddy. let's go into our final thoughts. Or do you have anything else that you want to speak on before we go into final thoughts, or at least or will this be your final thoughts?
I got nothing else.
All right, final thoughts. Nothing.
I also have nothing else. I don't have any thoughts. Oh, let's go Lions. They're going to play in, 15 minutes? Yeah, let's go Lions. They're playing Carolina. We better win that game. Carolina is awful. They're the only remaining winless team. So let's not give them their first win, please. God. That's it.
That's it.
That's
All
it.
right, cool. All right. My final thoughts are, yep, preseason's over. Regular season is finally here. Good morning. Go Red Wings. Go Lions. Yeah, you better win today. Um, that's it for me. That's it for me. Yeah. Let's prepare ourselves for the final cuts on the roster. Let's see who's going to be on the opening night roster and let's have a good season. Honestly, hopefully let's make the playoffs. Let's go into a trade deadline where we're not selling off everyone to gain more assets and and hopefully we get to see a couple prospects make their way into the lineup. Hopefully it's not by injury, but more so this player's too good not to have in our lineup. But that's it for me. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. If you guys would be so kind, if you haven't already, make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button. It's right there. If you're new, make sure you are subscribing. Make sure you're following us on Spotify as well. No matter where you're watching, where you're listening, we're there to provide you hockey content for all things Detroit Red Wings and hockey in general. Thanks for joining us once again, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.